A Cuppa Joe Nintendo is powered by the You, Me, and Capri Patreon. We want to say thank you to our gold level patrons like Brendan Myers, James Johnson, Ryan Turford, Egg Shen, Nasty Boots and Tammy, Joel Brooks, and Jonathan Brown. Thank you everyone for all of your support.
So Sean, are you still talking to me this week?
Buddy, I was glad to see you show up. This is nice. Nice.
I thought about just driving by the coffee shop. I said,
I did too.
I don't think I'm coming in today. I'm just gonna.
I had this terrible picture in my mind of like showing up at the coffee shop and drinking my coffee, and next thing you know, I'm finished it, and I realize Bobby's not here. I just drank a coffee all by myself. I got stood up by my favorite person in the whole world.
It's all good. It's all good.
Well, Bobby, I'm glad to see you, but why not start out with a bit of a tiff? You haven't complimented me on my nice haircut just yet.
Well, we just started talking. Like, come on, man.
I know. Well, this should be the first.
Listen, you haven't complimented me on my nice haircut either.
I haven't seen it. You're wearing a hat. But I will say your beard game is on. I like it. The whole like chin strap thing, and
I always do that.
Like you actually have a solid mustache.
A little,
like you have a good like. I have a creepster mustache. Yeah, it's no good. I shouldn't do it.
Well, yeah, you should just leave it off.
I know. Just run around with a brown paper bag.
I'll tell you something else you shouldn't do.
Uh-oh.
You shouldn't play Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Oh yeah, did you try and pick it up again?
Dude, it is so addicting. I'm in.
Oh, that's not what I was expecting.
Yeah, I know.
To
That's
say.
why I came in with a little
wow.
sneak attack.
Yeah, you
Dude,
me.
I am in so hardcore.
Really?
Yeah, man. The other day I was like, hey, I'm gonna just because we talked about it last weekend where you were just like, I don't understand why you just don't play a game by yourself on stream.
Right.
And I thought about it, and then like later on that day, I was talking to Miss Texan, and Miss Texan was like, yeah, I don't know why you don't do it either. Like, I would just chill out and play whatever you're playing. You know what I mean?
Man.
So I thought about playing Super Lucky's Tale, right?
Yep.
On stream. And then I just thought, like, that might not be as entertaining as I want it to be. So
sure.
I started to think about it. I was like, I want to play Fire Emblem. I was like, because I had to start over. For some reason, I don't know why, somewhere along the line, I lost my save data for it. And I don't know where. I don't know if it's on my other Switch and I just didn't back it up. I don't know. So I didn't feel like looking for it. I just said, you know what? It's probably better I do. Because I was at the beginning. I wasn't deep in.
Sure.
And I thought maybe it's just time to, because I got to get a refresher. I got to learn whatever's going on with the school. Not necessarily the battling. The battling's easy. So Garrett Bland shows up. Him and Watcher Girl are in the chat, and they're kind of walking me through because they both have played the game and they know what they're doing. And I'm like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I need. This is, because a lot of people get upset with that, like they call it backseat gaming or whatever. Me, right. I was just like, no, help me.
Yeah,
like,
there's a special place in heaven for people like that who come into the streams and help idiots like us. Like, what are we even doing here?
Exactly. Yeah, so they started teaching me. Garrett started teaching me to school. And both him and Watcher Girl, both of them, started teaching me to school, showing me what to do, Dude, all of a sudden I realized I love the school side of things. And just because of the fact of, like, it actually, like, okay, so all Fire Emblems, well, the Fire Emblems that I played, you always kind of went back to your base and did some stuff.
Right.
This one kind of gives you, like, the feel of, like, an adventure where you're running around. But you can also, which I didn't know this, you can literally fast travel to every single part of the school.
Yeah, that makes it a lot easier, man.
Yeah, so you're not running around the school doing stuff. And I was like, well, that's convenient. I didn't know about that the first time. So I was like, this is actually a lot of fun. And then I started getting in, and I realized my biggest mistake was the game is a little slow out the gates.
Mm-hmm.
But once you get past that part, the battles start coming.
Yeah. For sure.
I only did one battle, and I was just like, this game isn't even about battles. It's about trying to date your students, and which it is. But that's another thing.
I can't wait to talk to you next week when you pick your favorite. Like what?
Oh, I already have my favorite.
Oh, really?
I got two I'm eyeing. Manuela, which is the other teacher, right? Because she's kind of hot. Reminds me a little bit of Camilla. Like, I like that. And then,
nobody will be a Camilla. Come on.
I know, but still. And then
she's your sister, dude.
Dorothea right now. I actually had a moment alone with Dorothea the first time, and I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. This is
kind of getting me into it, man.
Yeah. Dude, I'm in. I'm so in.
I'm still in the school of my playthrough, and I haven't decided whether or not I thought I was walking away from it. You're kind of pulling me back in, but like something very like pivotal happens way through that you haven't seen just yet, and I'm like, and I just hit that, and then I've kind of stepped away from it, but. Dude, I think I need to go back. Like, Fire Emblem is so good. Like, when you talk about, like, the old games, like, I just remember, like, Birthright was just, like, incredible, dude.
Yeah, man, I loved it. I loved Birthright.
I really liked it. And, yeah, everybody, maybe I just have to do this. Yeah. But I'm still on Astral Chain, man. I'm bouncing around a little bit, but I'm still on Astral Chain.
Good. Astral Chain's good, but for me, the crazy thing, what I love about this is the game that I wanted Breath of the Wild to be. Meaning.
Oh, snap.
Not the style, not nothing. The voice acting, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Man, why did they spend all this money? Because here's the thing: people want to call Fire Emblem like it's not the top tier game for, it's not the A tier. You know what I mean? Like
sure.
Zelda, Mario, Smash, Mario Kart. Those are their A tier, right? We can all agree upon that. But then you have like the Yoshi, the Kirby, the Fire Emblem, the Animal Crossing.
Ooh, I wouldn't put Fire Emblem in that group, would you?
I wouldn't. I wouldn't in terms of what I mean by that. In terms of like they sell well.
Yeah.
Nintendo pushes them really hard, and but they're just not commercially always as successful as the other guys.
I see what you're saying. So it's not like other levels to be where I thought there was going to be other tiers. No. It's basically one or the other.
I feel like you have this area where like Nintendo puts a game out and it sells 20 million copies, right?
No doubt.
And then you have another one where they put it out and it like just hits definitely hits 1 million, but then by chance it could go 3, it could go 5. And it'll slowly grow, but like it's the ones that Nintendo puts a lot of push behind, and really tries to push it to the top. Like they're always
like Luigi's Mansion kind of thing.
Yeah, they're always showcased in the directs, and they show a lot of stuff about it, and that's how Fire Emblem is in my eyes. Yeah. So the thing is like this game is like they pushed it hard, but what I mean is like here's a lower tier in terms of like it's not the number one. It's right there. You know what I mean? Like, it's a great game. It's a great franchise. I'm not knocking it in that sense. But what I'm saying is here's a lower tier franchise that gets full voice acting throughout the game. Yet your A tier, Mario, and Zelda don't get that. And it's like, why? Like, what is the deal here? Like, why can't you have everybody talk to? Like, dude, you're talking, NPCs are talking to you.
Yeah.
Like, the only time you're reading, there's really not a time you're reading in this game. So far, unless I'm missing something. Like, how is it that characters that have nothing to do with the game, really, they'll even say hello to you and hi. Like, you're walking past an NPC who is doing nothing but guarding something, and they'll actually say, hi, Professor, or something like that. And it's like, man, why can't you have that when you're playing Zelda? And you go into a village, and people are like, hey, how are you today? Or little kids like, hi. You know what I mean? Like, nothing.
Yeah.
It's like,
I don't know, man. I feel like now we're flipped this week, too, because, like, I go, it's a stylistic choice. Like, it's Nintendo's choice. I don't even want to say it. Because it sounds like I'm defending it now. But I think like, the positive side, I think, is that it just differentiates it. Like, think about it, like, if to the benefit of Fire Emblem, like, if there were other games with voice acting and with, like, that whole thing rounded out, then Fire Emblem doesn't look nearly as special.
Yeah, that's true.
So there's that side of it as well. And like the other thing too is like when I play like Mario with Lincoln, like he doesn't care. Like it's so much better that they just go like rah, 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 and that's it. That they just, particularly with Mario. With Zelda, I'm not like talking about like the different types of games for different audiences. Like I think Fire Emblem and like Metroid are like the grown-up games. Yeah. Right? Like so for Metroid Prime 4, like I kind of like I expect it. I expect that like well-rounded story and the voice acting, everything else like that. Like Zelda's touchy, man, because people are gonna be a little weirded out if there's too much of that kind of. We got a little bit of it.
And I want to be clear, just so we're clear, because I guarantee there's people already like feverishly typing into the chat right now.
Yeah.
I don't want it for Link's Awakening, Breath of the Wild 2, those types of games, those grand experiences. They should have voice acting.
I wonder if there's like a way for them, like if there was like a side sort of Zelda for that to happen, like a different world or something, like a side, like if Breath of the Wild were like it actually is going to be serious, like with 1 and 2, like if there were like a pocket of games that, like kind of like what they did with like Spirit Tracks and Phantom Hourglass, they all kind of like look the same.
Yeah.
So maybe they could do that like as a bit of a group and a side thing, but like I don't know if you could do that for the mainline kind of games. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
It's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be. I'm curious about how Breath of the Wild 2 is going to turn out. I really am. Like it's all up in the air right now. There's all this conversation about is it 2020? Is it 2021?
Yeah.
And now we're hearing rumors that it's definitely 2021. But I'm also reading stories about like how this is the most important game in Nintendo's lineup. Like this is the game that they have to do perfectly. Because
that's where they're at with Zelda games now. Like, well, I think even more so than Mario games.
The crazy thing is if you would have told me pre Breath of the Wild that that's where they were at, I don't think that was it. I don't think that they were there yet. But I think Breath of the Wild did something so special in terms of putting Nintendo way back on the map.
Yeah.
And like sold 2 million copies of a console, or 2 million units of a console right out the gates.
Yeah.
Like they needed Zelda, because listen, it's documented. We could go back and watch another set of arguments where we were just like, you were like, where's the games? What's going on? And me and Toby were kind of like, dude, do you need anything else behind Zelda? And a lot of people were like, you need all these games at launch, because we were so used to when a company launches, you get all these games. You're coming off the Wii U, where Nintendo has no games for that thing. And it's like, here we go, we're right back into the fold. And it was like, no, all we did need was Breath of the Wild. Like, it's crazy.
I think that the biggest thing is just like it's been a while since like we had a game like you. It's not like you needed the game of the generation. So I think we were kind of like both right, like in that way. Where like I think in a lot of ways, anybody who was kind of like wondering where all the other games were, they're like kind of on my side of the argument was. Like we shouldn't expect that game to be the best game of all time. So we should like hope for other games as well. But then it turns out that like Zelda's, it was incredible, and it did exactly what it rewrote the book on how to release a console. Like as Xbox and PlayStation come up this fall, like you have to wonder, like everybody's gonna be wondering where's the Breath of the Wild? Like where is the next game that's like this is why you need to be playing games for the next 5 years? Because this is what's gonna be like.
You cannot tell me. And I don't care what anybody says, Sony is going to try to replicate that with Last of Us. Last of Us 2, they are going. They're going to keep delaying that thing until.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely. Why would you not? You've seen what Nintendo did, right? And Naughty Dog is their A team over there, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you replicate it? Why wouldn't you take the game that everybody wants, everybody's excited for, and go, you know what? We're going to put it on both consoles. And
it's funny because it is the same, like, because I was going to say, well, because it was promised for PS4, but Zelda was promised for the Wii U, and then they just sort of did that'd be interesting, man. I don't know.
It'd be pretty cool. I jumped. I didn't even ask you. What are you still just playing Astral Chain, or are you playing anything else?
I'm kind of bouncing around a little bit. I played a little bit of Wargroove. Did that co-op DLC, like that free download that they did. So I did a little co-op with Garrett Bland. Not nearly enough. That guy is so smart.
Oh yeah.
And so the co-op with Wargroove is like he kind of takes the lead. Like he basically like builds all the units that we need to build, and he takes like in his commander has a special ability. Like I play much more of a support role, which is actually really good because he's really smart. I'm a big dum dum.
Well, that's his wheelhouse.
That's his jam.
That's where he plays, that's where he lives.
So it seems kind of limiting in that way.
So wait a minute, Wargroove you could co-op together?
Yeah.
How does that work?
This is new. So it's like it was the two of us against like a computer. There's like a campaign through it all.
Okay.
So you can like it's like a whole other so you have like your single player campaign, and then you jump into this co-op thing, which is a totally different story. He's playing as this big bearded Scottish dude with a giant like hammer axe built with a stone. And I play like his kids. He's like little twin kids running around. And we kind of just go through the campaign. But I don't know, man. It's cool in that way. But I was kind of hoping that we would be more so like equals in that way, of like me having a commander and him having a commander, and then we play like co-op against maybe throughout the campaign. But it's really cool. I really like it. Like we just didn't really get around to do too much of it. But again, the benefit here is that because it's like turn-based strategy game, we don't have to actually play at the same time. Like he can play and take his turn, and then I'll get a notification. It's like your turn's up, or he can message me or something like that, and I can go in and fire it up whenever I want.
That's really interesting.
It's amazing that we don't like play more often. That I don't like. I just got to get to it more often, because like he's ready to go like right now. Yeah. Like it's top first thing in the morning, and he would play right now if I asked him. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty awesome.
And then the other game that I played, I'm about halfway through. It's a very short game. It's like 3 or 4 hours long. Is something that I went in with like my arms crossed, like definitely like old man, just like everybody says that this game is really good and it's really artsy and everybody really liked it. It's that game called, and people know it as Grease. Okay. But it's French for gray. So it's
yeah. I know you're talking
so about. I want to like just like call it out there, just like
GRIS.
Yeah, like gris. Like it's a whole thing. And then you try and over enunciate, and then people make fun of you. So, but dude, like I went in with my arms crossed, thinking just like this is like it's overly artsy. Like you're not even doing anything. The first probably 45 seconds, I'm just running to the right and like this is so stupid. Why am I even playing this stupid game? And over I don't know, an hour and a half or so, like it really won me over. Like it really is. Wow. It's all the things people say. It is gorgeous. It's sort of like a very low impact puzzle platformer. You're just kind of like you're running around and this woman's on some sort of journey, but I'm mostly just interested in like solving some of these very, very simple puzzles, seeing what is going to happen. And dude, it's actually a gorgeous game. And I'll say, because I've been on edge lately, like it took me down a couple notches. That's good. So it was good for my mental health, man.
That's always a good thing. It's always a good thing.
Yeah. Probably walk away from the Call of Duty and the astral chain of,
You might want to.
Killing everybody.
You might want to just rein it in a little bit.
I try, man. Maybe less caffeine, let's be honest.
Well, come on. We can't. We have to drink coffee right now. So here's something I'm a little curious about. I know that your wife is huge on Fallout, but where does Fallout rank with you? Like in terms of like, has it been a game that you're into, or is it just like whatever?
I was really into Fallout 3, and I played through Fallout 4, but like I really started to become like the curmudgeon Sean that of like really, especially with 4 going like, there's no excuses for these technical glitches that they have. Like the final battle in particular was like it barely ran. It was like 10 frames a second. It was like playing GoldenEye 64 on there, and it was like a current game. But I like it. I'm definitely not like where she's at with it. She'll go and find everything. So
okay, so then it takes me to Outer Worlds.
Oh yeah.
Do you have any?
She beat it.
Oh, did she already?
Yeah, she already beat it.
Okay.
I'm still like on the second planet.
Okay.
Like I played it a little bit of it, but yeah, it's really good.
Because I'm holding out for the Switch version.
You should play it.
And it just got talked about last week or whatever that they pushed it back. They delayed it originally, which was no big deal. But then because of this coronavirus, they couldn't get to the offices. They quarantined the area.
See?
It's nuts, dude. This whole thing is just whatever. But then what they said was because of that, it's going to delay it, and now we're going to get a physical copy of the game. And I feel like, me personally, I feel like I want to send a message to developers and game makers that this is how we want our games. We don't want a package in Best Buy that has no game in it. And I feel like this is a decision that they made, regardless of the decision, regardless of what people say. I don't care about the white noise that people are screaming right now. I want to show the developer that, hey, I was going to get this game on digitally, but now I'm going to buy it physically because I want you to see that this is what people want, and this is the way you're supposed to do games. And it's one of those speak with your wallet type things. You know what I mean? Like I was going to buy the game regardless. The delay didn't do anything to me but make me happy. I was good with pushing it back because I got a bunch of games I'm playing right now. So, so for me, it's like, okay, this is cool. And then the fact that like they're actually going to put a physical copy in, I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Why wouldn't I buy it? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think you'll like it, man. It's funny. I was just giggling to myself thinking about you playing Fire Emblem, but then was it like last week or the week before where you're like, you just got Tokyo Mirage sessions and like the hundreds of hours in RPGs that you're racking up. But Outer Worlds is only like 20 hours.
That's
like
not
it's pretty
bad
quick.
at all, then.
It's pretty good. And yeah, like I honestly don't like picture you playing a game like this as much as I like it. Like you're much more on like the Japanese side of things. This is very like stereotypical like Western RPG. Yeah. It's very Fallout. It's very like make a decision and see what happens.
Yeah.
And the results are catastrophic in some cases.
It's okay.
You know?
It's okay.
Or you could just straight up shoot somebody in the face and take the choice out of the matter altogether. So
this is true.
It's
true.
It's another thing. I just wonder too about like with the delay and then allowing for the cartridge to be put in. Like I wonder if they were rushing the game out. Like, I wonder if that, like, the way to get it out to market as soon as possible is just like, well, we just won't manufacture the cartridge. So it wasn't even, like, a cost thing. I think maybe it's just a timing.
It's possible. It's very possible.
Yeah.
You know, you never really necessarily know.
No, they haven't told me yet, so.
No. I was just checking out these pop-up kiosks. You see them?
Oh, I know, in the airports. Yeah,
man. I was just trying to see. One's not Atlanta. I thought one might be Atlanta. And then I was like, if one was in Atlanta, then you could go check it out because it's going to be there.
I should check my flights, though, because I'm going to be kind of it takes me like 6 stops to get to anywhere in the States.
Washington, D.C., Seattle, Chicago are the airports that it's going to be in.
And Dallas as well.
Yes, yeah.
I don't think that. Maybe Chicago. I could end up in Chicago, but that would be great to see.
It would be pretty just to see it. You know what I mean?
So you've seen the pictures of these things, right? Like it's very like you've seen things like this all over the place, like anytime, or like even Nintendo World New York.
Yes,
it's very much like that, where the like the benches and the screens and everything. Very like there's actually something like this in West Edmonton Mall. Like Tony Baker and I have seen it.
Okay.
I kind of like it, man. I've seen a lot of conversation about this thing. Like, I think it totally makes sense. It like kind of puts you right in that original commercial for Nintendo Switch.
That's what they were originally trying to sell to that experience. So here's people getting off of airplanes, walking around. You got time to kill. It's like, let me check this thing out. My question is,
what are you seeing on the airport, or what are you seeing on the airplane? Guaranteed, every flight, at least 1 or 2 people playing their Switch.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, so like, oh, what was that? That guy was playing Mario. I saw that on the flight. Like, I can go check it out here.
My question is, and I didn't really get into the article. You might know, like, are they going to sell Switches from these kiosks, or is it just a demo thing? Like, is somebody working them, or are they just like, hey, come up and play a game and check it out?
It looks like they're just like there's charging ports, so you can like just sit around and play them. There must be somebody working there.
You would think, right? Kind of show people about it and stuff.
When you go there, visitors receive a free Nintendo Switch branded luggage handle wrap and a $10 coupon from Target to use on any Nintendo purchase of $75 or more. So they're pushing people to go like buy something.
Here it is, check it out. Now go to Target and buy yourself a Switch.
I mean, even if it's $10 off the Switch, like that totally makes sense, man. What a cool! This is like a short little test. They're doing it until the end of March. I think it's really neat.
I think it's smart on their part because you got to think, like that's the thing that, man, successful Nintendo, it gets crazy and aggressive, and I love it. You know, and in my mind, like you do something like this is ingenious because how many people go through an airport on a daily basis? I know. Like you're getting all kinds of, and by the way, it's a different type of, I want to say a breed of person that lives in airports and are in airports all the time that might necessarily not get to watch TV, not necessarily, like they're business people, they're traveling all the time. This is like, oh, wait a minute, what's this? I can, oh, this might be kind of cool. I remember playing Mario and stuff when I was a kid and whatever. Like, this might be cool because, or some of those people might play Call of Duty, they might play Fortnite or whatever, and they're like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't even realize I could get this, and I could play Fortnite on the airplane. You know, or I could play whatever on the airplane. You know, so it's to me, it like takes it to another level, so to speak. It's actually too perfect. Like the more and more I think about it, I look at this and go like, this is actually, I think about like the old like guerrilla marketing that like Sega did back in the day, like how they tried to get into like the various malls and all the different places. Like this is kind of like, this is scrappy. I feel like in the way of, but it's polished too, obviously. And so when I go flying with the kids, and all I could think about is like, oh my God, they're just screaming. If I could just like do a little, if they could have some sort of distraction,
there's that, and then I go, oh my god, Nintendo Switch is the answer.
Yeah.
For like, just give them a Switch on the flight, like just so they have a little something more than like the iPad or the phone that most people are giving people. But to your point, like, it's the business people, it's the family man, it's for the kids. Like, it's Nintendo wrapped up into a brand, thrown into an airport, which everybody, all walks of life, go to airports in droves.
Yeah.
Right. So it's perfect. It's actually stupidly perfect. I'm jealous I didn't think of it. If we ran Nintendo, we never would have thought of it.
We never
would have.
It was never even on our radar.
No.
It'd be nice if it was, and we could be like, yo, they stole our idea. Look at it. But
I know.
No.
Yeah, getting airports, who would have thought?
It just shows that Doug Bowser was never listening to us anyway.
That's true. That's true.
So, one more thing I want to talk about. We're gonna bring Animal Crossing up again because I know it's your favorite topic.
Yeah.
This is an ideal conversation piece for the let's pump the brakes, let's wait a minute, let's see what exactly is happening here. So earlier last week, I believe, we started getting all these reports that Animal Crossing was going to have in-game purchases. It was on the back of the cart. It was, whatever. Like, and
right.
People were losing their minds. Like, what do you mean? This is going to turn into, like, YouTubers, of course, were just like, they needed clickbait, so they took it and they were burying Nintendo all week long. In my mind, I was like, I just want to wait. I want to wait until Nintendo comes out on this one before you say anything, because you don't necessarily know what that means. I was talking to Pat. We had a quick talk about it, and I was like, man, should I talk about this? Should I back it off? And he's like, dude, I think it's a fool's errand to talk about this. He's like, I think that what they're posting could potentially be like Nintendo Online. Like, you would purchase Nintendo Online through the game, and maybe the United States makes you put that on the packaging. He's like, I would just wait. He's like, he's like, it makes no sense, because that's the thing. Like, when you think of terms of Animal Crossing in the past, right? There are no like, hey, you go buy. Now, the mobile game is one thing, and that's what people were basically saying. Like, oh, this is going to become the mobile game. That is not Nintendo's wheelhouse. That's not what they do. They are trying to keep them two business models as far apart as possible, right? Then the other thing that I'm sitting there listening to was people actually hammering down on Nintendo about the way they handle DLC and the way they handle their mobile in-game purchases, and I'm like, okay, guys, let's pump the brakes. They are not EA, and that's the way they were trying to paint them out to be, the people that I had watched do these videos. Number one, right? Nintendo is the first and only company that I have ever heard of to actually go to their developers and go, man, we're making way too much money on in-game purchases mobile. Scale it back. Like, that Dragon game, Lost Dragalia, they actually pissed the developers off because they were like, we're going to scale back the in-app purchases. Same thing with Fire Emblem. Like, to say that they are just like these monsters per se just blew me away to hear that, number one. Number two was, they have never done a loot box type system, like, other than Smash. And to be fair, that's a little bit different than most fighter games do DLC. They're a little bit better than I mean, dude, it was $30 for Pokken to get it to get two fighters. Like, they were crazy with their charges. Nintendo, other than Smash, like, you think about like the Mario Kart DLC that they put out, priced astronomically perfect. You know what I mean? Like, when you think about stuff like that, like, they gave us a free huge DLC update for Animal Crossing New Leaf. So when I think about it, I go, the history and the track record of this company, what you people are saying just doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
At all.
Yeah, they're projecting a lot of like other experiences onto Nintendo that doesn't really line up for sure. My take on it, honestly, is like, I don't know if this surprises you or not. Like, I think they should throw a monetization model at it. Like, I think Animal Crossing is perfect for it. It's just waiting for it. Some sort of like season-based thing. Like, again, I think I said this with like Pokemon as well. Like, the amount of content you get for like the base game, like, that's just not the way things are anymore.
Yeah.
And it actually is a weird sort of backwards way of engaging audiences over time. Like, Call of Duty is a good example where like they're making bank on this in this battle pass thing. And Fortnite, they're just making like it's kind of what people kind of expect a little bit. So I do expect them to throw some monetization at it, and I'm sure people will be really upset about it. But then I'm sure they'll also throw all the money at it as well. Like,
but I think
it'll be things that they want.
The hard part with DLC in Animal Crossing and charging for it is this: Nintendo will not give you paid DLC. Paid DLC and unpaid, they don't merge. Meaning, the prime example of that is Mario Kart, right? So, man, if we played Mario Kart on the Wii U, if you didn't buy the DLC, if I set up the tracks and the tracks were DLC tracks, you weren't able to race with me online, right?
Yeah.
Animal Crossing is a huge trade thing. So how does that work? If I buy a DLC pack and I get a bunch of stuff and I can't trade that item to you, it kind of becomes like
what if you could? What if you could? Like, what if you had a fancy, I don't know, like armchair or something? You're like, hey man, I don't need this. Like, you want it.
But you think financially that's a wise idea to go like, hey, 5 people bought this thing, we're just gonna let people trade it all over the place?
I mean, I don't like in terms of if you're Nintendo, I don't know if you would want that, but I think it would be a cool way to just smooth things over. I think that would be a very Nintendo, like very sherry kind of way to do it.
You know what the funny thing is? There are items. See, because typically what happens is this: if I go to someone's town, and let's say they had an item there that I wanted, and they wouldn't trade it to me, they could literally drop it on the ground. I could pick it up, and then I could go back to my town and order it through the kiosk, right?
Yeah.
But not all items are orderable. There was like these rare items that you couldn't do. So I wonder if that's what you do.
Yeah.
Like you go like, you can trade it if you want to trade it, but you're never going to get it back again because you can't reorder it. So it keeps people from wanting to go trade that item. And then if you let someone pick it up, they're not necessarily going to be able to go order it themselves. It'll catalog that they've had the item because for the collectors, for the, for idiots like me that want to have everything in their catalog.
Yeah.
It'll register it. Hey, you've touched it, you've held it, but you don't own it, and you can. Because that's the same thing. Like you make the decision. Like there's a katana. There's a black one and a white one, and one of them, I forget which one it is. I think it's the black one. Is super rare, and you can't get it. You can't reorder it. So it's one of those things of like, man, do I sell the katana or do I keep it? And you always wind up keeping it because you're like, you never know. I might need it one day. Like I might try to set up a room to be like samurai-like looking, and I trade it and I'm screwed, So it's just funny.
I know the mind of an Animal Crossing player is actually hilarious. But the one thing that I want to say to you is like I'm not like asking for monetization in Animal Crossing, but I do think that if Nintendo lands on something that people want, they'll pay for it. Yeah. Like it's pretty basic, but it's not as simple as like you pay a price and you get like a shiny thing. Yeah. Or anything like that. It has to be something that like is natural, and I'm not even gonna try and pretend like I know what Animal Crossing players want, because God knows I am so far from the mark on that one. Yeah. But there is something there. There's definitely something there. That's it's an ongoing game. People will play it forever, and they have to figure out a way to keep people coming back for like year 2 and year 3 and year 4. Like this is it. This is your Animal Crossing game for the Switch. So
I agree. So listen, man, I gotta bounce, and Joe hasn't showed up yet. So when he gets here, just tell him I said hi, all right?
I probably won't.
Okay, that's fine.
All right.
See you later, buddy.
See you, man.
Thank you for listening to A Cuppa Joe Nintendo, a production of the You, Me, and Capri Patreon. If you like the show, you can support them at patreon.com, You, Me, Capri. A Cuppa Joe Nintendo is available on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and all of your other podcast services. Be sure to follow Bobby and Nintendo Gurus on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. For everything that Sean does on the internet, follow him on Twitter, at Sean Capri. Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. Also, twitch.tv Sean Capri. That is all. Peace out, Preston.